So we had recent FCC and patent filings for a GameCube controller on the Nintendo Switch 2, which led many to believe that we could be seeing GameCube games or a GameCube NSO service come to Nintendo Switch 2, or even GameCube controller support for Nintendo Switch 2 games like the latest Super Smash Bros. Title. But in this video, I wanted to explore what we could see and how the plans could be getting way bigger than what we originally thought. There could be essentially GameCube NSO in addition to more that goes with the GameCube NSO, like upscaling for those games and other things that wasn't possible on previous Nintendo hardware. So I wanted to get into that and some of the lost games that we could see, and maybe even the reason why we haven't seen certain games like The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess and one of my favorites, The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD. Could Nintendo be planning something even bigger with these titles? We're going to jump into that and a little bit more, but let's go ahead and first start off with The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. Could we see the original game in addition to a new version of it? We've seen Nintendo do that before. We saw stuff like Link's Awakening, for example. They have the original Game Boy game that's on the service that you can play, in addition to a brand new remake of the game. What is Nintendo planning with that? Do they see that HD version of the game as something they want to re-release, or is it something that maybe they want to even retool further than what they did? Now, that original HD release had some issues on the Wii U, but it was still a very good game. There was just some frame rate problems overall. With the Nintendo Switch 2 upgrade in hardware, they could easily take that game, port it over, and upgrade it to where it runs a lot better. So why didn't they do that? Not even talking about Nintendo Switch 2, Nintendo Switch 1, they could have upgraded it and got that running at 60 frames per second on the Nintendo Switch 1. So what were the reasonings why we didn't see Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD on the Nintendo Switch? Well, that could be intertwined with, like I said, the patent filing and what's going on here with GameCube. They could be planning to do more of a multi-tiered approach to bringing GameCube games over. I do think that a remake of Wind Waker, or more like a high-end remaster of Wind Waker, is really possible. And even with Twilight Princess, to where it's not just that HD game that they had on the Wii U brought over, but they actually do some extra work to it. So this would be very similar to, like, let's say, The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. That just wasn't a port of the original game from the Wii. It wasn't just an HD version of it in 1080p. They actually did some texture work to it. They upgraded it, and it became, officially from Nintendo at least, the first 3D Zelda game on console to run at 60 frames per second and 1080p. So that was a pretty big achievement on the Nintendo Switch. So if they did that for Skyward Sword, maybe they have bigger plans for Wind Waker in addition to Twilight Princess. For me, I would love to see Wind Waker running at a beautiful 60 frames per second on the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, if they can get that Wind Waker HD version over from the Wii U, and even if it's just like, hey, lock 30 frames and 1080p, okay, that would be awesome. But man, I think I'd actually go through it and play it again if they bumped it up to 60, and if they bumped it up DLSS 4K or something like that. If they did that and retooled it better, not just a pure port of it and just kind of like the bare bones, I think that would be really good for Wind Waker, especially because that game is a huge, more open-ended type of game with all this cool ocean and scenery and different stuff. I mean, yeah, it's kind of bare bones in some places, but at the time playing back in 2003, it was incredible to see The Legend of Zelda, at least for me, in that type of way. Now, with Twilight Princess, that would also be incredible. Twilight Princess had its own really special things that if it's running at 1080p 60 frames per second, that would also be really cool as well. I think that both games would be great, fast loading, all of that. So could Nintendo be retooling those to actually take advantage of what the Nintendo Switch 2 does? I do think that is a possibility, especially with that GameCube in terms of the FCC or patent filing, what's going on there, and the technology that we discussed as well with the AI upscaling. I just think that with the DLSS and AI upscaling and what we have with Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, I just think that it's possible that Nintendo saw it a bit differently than what other people saw as, okay, just bring it right over as a simple port overall. So we'll have to wait and see. Plus, there's still the NSO, right? Maybe they bring over the original games, which obviously they're not as good as the ports of those, but they bring over the original games, and you can get them on the service, and they upscale those ones as well. I think that would be pretty cool if they did that. But once again, it's all kind of theories here, but I do think it intertwines into Nintendo's big launch and what they're doing to get ready to show off this system. I don't see Furukawa as a guy that's going to hold back when it comes to punches for the launch. So they're going to play a lot of their cards early at this one. And of course, they're going to have surprises and other things when it comes to games over the course of the life of years of the Nintendo Switch 2. But I'm saying in terms of setting up the Nintendo Switch 2 for success, I don't think Furukawa's going to play around with certain things like this. They're going to show us quite a number of things April 2nd. They've got a huge direct planned for it. But I would love for you guys that are not subscribed to also show your hands and hit that subscribe button to the channel. If you enjoy Nintendo Switch 2 content and if you enjoy these type of videos, hit that like button. Also click that notification bell to get my vids as soon as they drop. Now let's go ahead and jump into the next topic here that I'm actually really excited to discuss. And that is a Nintendo Switch 2 confirmed game at this point, Yooka-Replay. Yes, we've got some more details on this game that I think are very interesting and where this game might actually fulfill what they were trying to do at the beginning. It wasn't quite as good as Banjo-Kazooie. People didn't feel that it was that great, but maybe this one is going to get it done. And we do have a confirmation that it will be for the Nintendo Switch 2. So this is one of the first revealed Nintendo Switch 2 titles. So Yooka-Replay to be co-published by PM Studios. So they got some extra backing in terms of the financial risk with this game. So PM Studios will co-publish the Playtonic Games developed Yooka-Laylee remake Yooka-Replay alongside Playtonic Friends when it launches for the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC via Steam, as well as an undisclosed Nintendo platform later in 2025. Clearly, that's the Nintendo Switch 2. Yooka-Laylee was our love letter to the golden age of platformers, and Yooka-Replay is a love letter to that love letter, said Playtonic Games CEO Gavin Price in a press release. PM Studios innately understands this. They're the perfect partner for Playtonic Friends as we enter the next stage of our journey with the game. PM Studios CEO Michael Yum added, as a fan of collectathons like Yooka-Laylee and Banjo-Kazooie before that, it's a delight to partner with Playtonic in bringing Yooka-Replay to platformer fans around the globe. With our powers combined, Yooka and Laylee will be bigger than ever. And I think that this game, in terms of all the different tweaks, apparently there are hundreds of tweaks, adjustments, and things that just make this game considerably better from what they had before. And I think that's probably the best bet, instead of trying to make something completely different or a sequel and have to think of, okay, we're going to do this, this, and this. Take that original game that obviously was not perfect and add in so much extra content, almost make it like a pseudo sequel in a way, because they've added a ton of levels and different things, and then just really fix a lot of the issues, because they've had tons of time to look through all the different feedback that people have given them. But the features here are impressive. You have obviously improved graphics, you got art, animation, overhaul, enhanced performance and resolution, so that's great. You have new and improved challenges as well, improvements to the existing in-game challenges, and many entirely new ones to discover and undertake. You've got a new collectible currency as well. You can navigate this huge world. Challenges tracker lets you track everything in terms of where you need to go for quality of life features. And one of the bigger things here, because this was an issue with the original, they've got revised controls and camera. A newly tweaked moveset allows you to combine moves more fluidly, while the new camera controls makes framing the action a breeze. Plus, a dreamy orchestral soundtrack, which music always important in platformers. You want to have those nice tunes playing while you're collecting and platforming and jumping and swimming and all that. So I'm actually looking forward to Yooka-Replay as someone who played the first game and was somewhat excited for it. I'm not a huge 3D platformer, collectathon, Banjo-Kazooie type of person, but I wanted to see if they can capture that same spirit from the N64 era, and they did to a degree. Not completely, but to a degree. So I'll give them definitely credit for trying, as there aren't a lot of high-end or big 3D platformers out there. Most people go with 2D because it's a lot simpler and it's a lot easier. Plus, you can make a higher quality game with probably less resources. So I do think that anyone that tries to do something like a Banjo-Kazooie in the modern day is awesome, just because we don't have a ton of those. Like Mario, you see Astrobot, but there's not like there's a bunch of them coming out like 2D platformers from the indie and AA scene. So what do you guys think about Yooka-Replay? One of the first Nintendo Switch 2 confirmed games out there. Plus, they talked about a new gameplay trailer as well that looked pretty cool. Kind of Funny Games Showcase showed that off, which you guys are seeing too. But next, we're going to move on to a title that I think could also come to Nintendo Switch 2, but was recently announced, and it's called Silent Hill F. Now, I'm not a big Silent Hill guy. I talked about this on my live stream. I reacted to the trailer, and I actually wanted to insert it into one of my videos here. Silent Hill F confirmed for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC. We've got the first reveal trailer, and this game looks absolutely crazy. If you're a horror fan, I'm pretty sure that you're not going to want to miss this one. I love the setting of 1960s Japan. I think that it's creepy, gives me some Eternal Darkness type of weird hallucination vibes, along with all sorts of just twisted horror overall. So Silent Hill F, Konami will be the ones who are publishing it, of course, as they own the IP, but the developer is Neobards Entertainment. So that's interesting. I've never heard of them before. So let's talk a little bit more about this. 1960s Japan, Shimizu Hanako's secluded town of Ebisugaoka is consumed by a sudden fog, transforming her home into a haunting nightmare. As the town falls silent and the fog thickens, Hanako must navigate the twisted paths of her town, solving complex puzzles and confronting grotesque monsters to survive. Immerse yourself as Hanako's world imagined by renowned author Ryukishi 07, with entrancing music, including pieces from Akira Yamaoka, and beautiful visuals in a gripping tale of doubt, regret, and inescapable choices. Will Hanako embrace the beauty hidden within terror or succumb to the madness that lies ahead? Discover a new chapter in the Silent Hill series, blending psychological horror with the haunting Japanese setting, which I talked about the psychological horror because, like I said, Eternal Darkness, which is a cult hit GameCube game where crazy things will be happening to you, but it wasn't actually happening. And that game kind of freaked me out back when I played it in the early 2000s. But I'm not a big horror fan, so I'm still debating if I'm going to play this game or not, but I'm definitely going to watch it like 100%. And there was a huge write-up on the composer, in addition to the creatures and character designs and the script writer. They're really taking this seriously. They're pumping some money into it, and I think that it's going to be a quality game, especially based off of the Silent Hill 2 remake. People were thinking that that game was not going to be very good. The remake was going to fall short. Konami doesn't have it, but it actually ended up being really good from Blooper Team. So the confidence is back. I think that people realize that Konami is actually going hard with Silent Hill. That Silent Hill 2 remake sold really well. I think over 2 million units plus at this point. So I do think that Silent Hill F is a game that clearly is not the highest end AAA type of budget game. It's going to be a lot of empty areas and you just kind of going through. But I do think that this one is going to be successful as well. We can see multiple millions in these sales numbers for this game. And that would be good because I want Konami to realize that people want Silent Hill. People want Metal Gear. People want these type of games, and they're bringing it back. They're bringing Castlevania back, or they've already brought Castlevania back in terms of classic collections, and there's rumors that there's going to be a new Castlevania game. Maybe we see that on Nintendo Switch 2 as well. We know that Metal Gear, they've been bringing back the collections with Metal Gear Solid, in addition to a brand new remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 as well, which just looks incredible. So they are actually spending money and investing into these IPs that people played for decades now at this point. So I like it, and hopefully Silent Hill F turns out to be really good. But based off of what I've seen so far here, it does look pretty good overall. Now, when it comes to Nintendo Switch 2, we know that Konami wants to support the Nintendo Switch 2 with titles. We don't have Silent Hill 2, the remake, and we don't have this game announced yet, but I do think that both of these are prime candidates for the Nintendo Switch 2, and maybe at the Switch 2 April Nintendo Direct, they talk about those, but Konami absolutely wants to be a supporter of Nintendo Switch. They support when they can with various different games, so I would not be surprised if the Nintendo Switch 2 also got these games overall with Silent Hill 2 Remake, in addition to Silent Hill F. I think this game would be perfect to play on the go, or even like lying down in bed. You put the headphones in there, man, you turn out the lights, or have a really low ambient light going. I think that'd be pretty dope overall, and of course increase the appeal to be able to play the game anywhere that you want as well, without any other type of hardware like a PS Portal or a Steam Deck or some type of ROG Ally or something like that. So I think that actually be a pretty good fit, and of course with the haptic feedback, that could be cool too. I'm wondering what they're going to do on the PlayStation 5 version of the game with haptics. That could be really dope as well for HD Rumble or HD Rumble 2, whatever Nintendo decides to do with that. So what are your thoughts overall, guys, on everything that we talked about here, from my theories and how the Nintendo Switch 2 launch is getting bigger, maybe with Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, GameCube games, in addition to the rest of what we discussed? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch RPG videos and more right here on screen. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.